There's a reason the strongest women of God through the fiercest storms. It's not because they are weak. It's because heaven already stamped them with strength. You don't send your lightest soldiers into the heaviest war. You send the warriors who have been proven, the ones who can carry the weight of the mission. He moves. The ones who can endure the pressure without breaking. So when life throws its hardest blows at you, it's not proof of your weakness. It's confirmation of your calling. Understand this: battles are not punishments. They are platforms. The tears you cry, the nights you stay awake, the burdens you carry, all of it is preparing you for a testimony that will shake nations. He moves. You are being trained in the fire so that when others collapse under pressure, you'll be the one still standing, declaring the faithfulness of God. The devil doesn't waste his energy on those who pose no threat. If the attack against you is relentless, it's because your destiny is unstoppable. If the storm refuses to end, it's because your future is too bright to ignore. You're not under attack because you are forgotten. You're under attack because you are chosen. And let me tell you, strength is not measured by how easy life is, but by how you keep walking when every step feels heavy. Real strength is forged in the furnace. Real faith is revealed when there's nothing to lean on but God Himself. The greatest crowns are reserved for those who never quit, who kept their faith alive when everything around them screamed despair. So don't let your battles make you bitter. Let them make you bolder. Don't let your pain push you away. Let it push you deeper into your purpose. The hardest battles are reserved for the strongest women, because when you come out of that fire, you will not just be a survivor. You will be a testimony that inspires generations. When we talk about battles, most people see them as punishment, as if every hardship is God's way of saying He is displeased. But that's the wrong lens to look through. A battle in your life is not always a sign of discipline. Many times, it's a sign of destiny. A storm is not always sent to sink you. Sometimes it's sent to strengthen you. A battle is not proof that you've been abandoned. It is proof that you have been entrusted. You see, God doesn't waste battles on the unprepared. He doesn't place heavy assignments on shoulders that cannot carry them. If you find yourself facing a season where every day feels like a fight, that is not random. That is not an accident. That is divine placement of responsibility. Because battles are not punishments. They are platforms. Platforms on which God elevates His people to display His power. His faithfulness, and His glory. Think about it. A soldier doesn't get sent into the heat unless he has already proven himself. In training, a general doesn't choose the weakest to go to the front lines. He chooses the ones who have been tested, the ones who can endure, the ones who can hold the line when the enemy pushes. In the same way, when God allows you to step into a fierce battle, it is because He knows you have been prepared for such a time as this. Every tear you cried in the past, every scar you carry, every setback you overcame, they weren't meaningless. They were your training ground. They were shaping your resilience, your endurance, your faith. And now, when the bigger fight comes, heaven says, He moves. She's ready. This is why some of you, you're always in the middle of something. It's why it seems like when one storm ends, another begins. You keep asking, why me? Why does it feel like I can't catch a break? And the answer is this: because your life is not meant to be average. Your testimony is not meant to be ordinary. Your story is not meant to be quiet. It's meant to be loud. It's meant to inspire. It's meant to bring others to faith when they see what God has brought you through. And for that to happen, you can't be given light, easy challenges. You're given the ones that look impossible. You're placed in situations where only God can get the glory when you come out. He battles as platforms mean that what you're going through is not just for you. It's for the people watching, for the people following, for the ones who are still struggling in silence. Your endurance becomes their encouragement. Your victory becomes their vision. When you stand on the other side of the fire and say, I made it, you give hope to somebody who thought they couldn't. That's why God lets you stand in that battle. It's not a punishment. It's a pulpit. He is using your pain as a platform to preach without words, to declare His goodness without a sermon. People see your perseverance, and they are drawn to the God who sustained you. And think about this: if battles were punishments, then the strongest would always be spared, because they would be the least deserving of them. But in reality, it's the strongest who seem to go through the most. That right there tells you it's not about punishment. It's about purpose. The battles of your life are assignments attached to your calling. The weight of your war matches the weight of your destiny. And when you come through it, you will stand on a platform built not by human hands, but by divine design. That platform will elevate you, so your voice, your influence, your testimony, your impact will reach places it never could have reached otherwise. So the next time you're tempted to see your struggle as punishment, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what platform is God building beneath my feet right now? What audience is He preparing to hear my story? What destiny is being forged in this fire? Because the truth is, without the battle, there is no platform. Without the struggle, there is no stage. Without the fight, there is no victory to celebrate. That's why you cannot resent the battle. You cannot despise the hardship. You cannot give up in the middle of the war. Because every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, every enemy you defeat is lifting you higher. It is positioning you where you need to be so that when God says it's time, you will stand on that platform and shine as living proof of His strength. The fiercest attacks prove the greatest because no enemy wastes energy where there is no threat. The level of warfare in your life is a reflection of the weight of your destiny. If the opposition is great, it is only because what God has placed inside of you is greater. When the pressure around you feels unbearable, it is often a signal that something powerful within you is about to be birthed. Just as labor pains intensify before delivery, the spiritual attacks in your life grow stronger as you draw nearer to what God has promised. That pressure is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to confirm that you carry something precious, something powerful, something the enemy cannot allow to come forth without a fight. Ooh. When you look at the great figures of faith, their callings were always matched with opposition. Joseph was hated by his brothers, betrayed, and imprisoned. Yet he carried the destiny of preserving nations. Moses faced Pharaoh's resistance because he was called to lead millions out of bondage. David faced a giant because he was anointed to be king. Jesus himself was opposed at every turn because his mission was salvation for the world. Notice the pattern: the stronger the calling, the fiercer the resistance. This principle has not changed. If you are facing battles that seem overwhelming, it is not because you are weak, but because you are destined to do something that will shake the very foundations of darkness. Moves. The enemy doesn't fight fair, but he also doesn't fight unnecessarily. He studies your potential. And when he sees the hand of God on your life, he launches attacks to wear you down, to discourage you, to make you question who you are and what you are capable of. That is why the fiercest storms come to those who are chosen. Because if the enemy can't stop God's plan, he will try to stop your belief in God's plan. He will try to plant seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity, because if he can get you to quit, then he never has to fight the fulfillment of your calling. But what he doesn't realize is that every time you refuse to quit, you grow stronger. Every time you hold on in faith, your calling becomes clearer. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you testify that your destiny cannot be denied. Think about it like this. No one robs an empty house. Thieves only break into places where there is something valuable to steal. In the same way, the enemy comes against you with such ferocity because you carry treasures inside of you. Treasures of wisdom, treasures of influence, treasures of faith, treasures of destiny that threaten his kingdom. The battle around you is proof of the value within you. That means instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You can begin to declare, this is happening because there is greatness in me, must come forth. The fiercest attacks also mean the greatest platform for God's glory. Because when you survive what should have destroyed you, people will have no choice but to acknowledge the power that carried you. When you rise from ashes that others assumed would consume you, the spotlight shifts from your weakness to his strength. Your calling is not about you alone. It's about the people who will see your endurance and be inspired to believe again. It's about the generations that will benefit from your obedience. The size of your attack is directly connected to the reach of your influence. He moves. That's why the enemy comes at you hard, because your story will bring hope to countless others. Understand this. Calling comes with weight. A higher calling means heavier battles. But the good news is God equips those he calls. He never leaves you to fight alone. For every attack, there is an armor. For every opposition, there is provision. For every strike of the enemy, there is a shield of faith, a word of truth, a power of prayer that sustains you. The attacks may be fierce, but they will never be final. He moves because your calling is secured by the one who gave it. So instead of being discouraged, when the fire intensifies, let it remind you of your value. Let it remind you of the greatness ahead. Let it remind you that you are on the right track, because the fiercest battles are often fought on the borders of the promised land. That means if the enemy is hitting hard, you are closer than you think. You are right on the edge of stepping into a new season, right on the edge of birthing what God placed inside of you. Right on the edge of seeing the fulfillment of your calling. The fiercest attacks don't come to ordinary lives. They come to extraordinary ones. They come to the women and men whose faith will move mountains, whose testimonies will set captives free, whose endurance will shift atmospheres. If your life has been a battlefield, it is because your calling is too powerful to be ignored. And that calling, no matter how great the attack, will always outlast the enemy's schemes, because the one who called you is greater than anything against you. Strength is not revealed in seasons of ease, but in the midst of storms. Anyone can walk confidently when the path is smooth, when the skies are clear, when everything is falling neatly into place. That does not require endurance. That does not require faith. That does not require courage. Real strength is exposed when the wind is howling against you, when the waves are crashing over you, when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. It is in those moments when you are stripped of comfort, when you cannot rely on your own resources, when you have no choice but to dig deep and depend on God, that the true measure of strength is brought to the surface. Ease hides strength, but adversity reveals it. When you go through a storm, you discover things about yourself you never knew were there. You uncover resilience you didn't think you had. You realize that the same power that raised Christ from the dead is sustaining you through the valley. Moves. That kind of revelation does not come in seasons plenty, it comes in seasons of pressure. Gold is not proven by sitting on a shelf. It is tested in the fire. Steel is not strengthened by being admired. It is forged under heat and hammer. In the same way, your character, your faith, your endurance are not revealed when everything is comfortable. They are revealed when everything is shaking and you still stand. Storms have a way of stripping away illusions. They remove the masks of self-sufficiency and show us where our foundation really lies. When the storm rages, you can no longer pretend that your strength is enough. You are forced to lean into a greater source. And in that leaning, you learn that God's grace is sufficient, that His power is made perfect in weakness, that His presence sustains you when nothing else can, and is there in the storm. That strength is not just revealed, it is refined, because every gust of wind that tries to knock you down only roots you deeper. He moves. Every wave that crashes against you teaches you how to withstand the next one. Every dark cloud that hovers above you pushes you. Keep your eyes fixed. The light that will eventually break through. Think of an oak tree standing tall in the middle of a storm. The wind bends it. The rain beats down on it. The lightning cracks nearby. Yet the tree remains because its roots go deep. No one admires the oak on a calm day as much as they do after a storm. when it has endured what others could not. That is the picture of a life anchored in God. The storms may rage, but when you remain standing, your strength is revealed, not only to yourself, but to everyone watching. And that strength is not just for your survival, it is for your testimony. Others are encouraged when they see you still praising, still believing, still standing despite what you've gone through. Ease never demands faith, but storms do. Ease never stretches endurance, but storms force you to persevere. Ease never proves your roots, but storms make them visible. So when you find yourself in a storm, do not despise it as the end of your strength. Recognize it as the relation of your strength. You are being shown not just what you can endure, but who is upholding you. You are discovering that, hey, you are Scruverman, you thought. Not because of your own ability, but because of the one who strengthens you in the middle of the battle. And when you survive a storm, you don't come out the same way you went in. You come out wiser, tougher, more grounded, more compassionate. You understand pain in a way you never did before, which makes you able to comfort others who go through their storms. You understand perseverance in a deeper way, which makes you more patient with the process of life. You understand faith in a more profound way because you have seen God show up when you had nothing left. That transformation could never happen if life were always easy. Ease may give you comfort, but storms give you strength. If you look back over your life, the moments you grew the most were not the moments of peace, but the moments of pressure. The seasons you became wiser, the seasons you became stronger, the seasons you became more faithful were the ones where you had to fight, where you had to pray, where you had to trust. That is the gift hidden in the storm. What looks like destruction on the surface is actually construction underneath. The storm is building something in you, revealing something in you, anchoring something in you that can never be developed in calm seas. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a storm, remind yourself that this is not where you lose. It's where you prove. This is not where you break. It's where you build. This is not where your strength disappears. It's where it is revealed for the world to see. Because strength is never proven in sunshine. It is always proven in the storm. The enemy fights hardest against the chosen because the chosen are the ones who threaten his kingdom the most. When you carry a divine assignment on your life, when you have been marked for impact, when your presence is designed to bring light into darkness, you automatically become a target. The enemy is strategic. He does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. He is not concerned with people who are content to live without purpose, who drift aimlessly, who never step into what God has called them to be. But when you rise up with conviction, when you begin to walk in obedience, when you dare to step into your calling, suddenly all of hell pays attention. Suddenly, attacks come from every direction. Suddenly, opposition feels relentless. Not because you are forgotten, but because you are chosen. This is why many of the strongest women and men of faith face the heaviest battles. It is not random misfortune. It is targeted resistance. The closer you get to fulfilling your calling, the opposition becomes. The enemy knows he cannot stop God, but he tries to discourage the one carrying it. If he can shake your faith, if he can make you doubt yourself, if he can wear you down to the point where you quit, then he doesn't have to worry about what your obedience would unleash in the world. His attacks are not against who you are right now. They are against who you are becoming. They are against the influence you will carry, the testimony you will live, the lives you will touch. Think about it. When Moses was born, Pharaoh ordered the death of Hebrew boys. Why? Because he feared the rise of a deliverer. Before Moses ever spoke to Pharaoh, before he ever led Israel, the enemy already sensed his calling and tried to destroy him as an infant. When Jesus was born, Herod ordered the slaughter of children because the enemy knew a Savior had arrived. Notice that the attacks began before their ministries even unfolded. That tells you something powerful. The enemy fights hardest at the root when he sees the seed of greatness. If your life has been a battlefield from the beginning, it may be because heaven planted something so extraordinary in you, has been nervous ever since. Being chosen does not exempt you from battles. It guarantees them. But here's the truth. Being chosen also guarantees that the battle will not break you. God equips those he calls. He places within you everything you need to endure the warfare assigned to your destiny. The enemy may row but he cannot remove God's hand from your life. He may strike, but he cannot strip away the anointing that covers you. The evidence that you are chosen is not the absence of attacks. It is the presence of them. If you have wondered why your life has felt like a constant struggle, why you always seem to face resistance, why doors sometimes take so long to open, the answer may be that your destiny is so significant that it demands refinement through fire. When you are chosen, The enemy tries to use pressure to make you question your identity. He whispers lies like, "You're not enough. You'll never make it. You are forgotten," hoping you will surrender. But every time you reject those lies and stand in truth, you prove that the power within you is greater than the pressure around you. Every time you keep moving forward, despite the weight of opposition, you remind the enemy that his efforts are wasted. Every time you choose to trust instead of fear, to worship instead of worry, to fight instead of fold, you walk more fully into the authority of the chosen. Being chosen means your life carries influence beyond what you can see. The battle you're in is not just about you. It's about the people who will be set free because of you, the families who will be healed through your example, the souls who will be encouraged through your perseverance. The enemy understands that if he can stop you, he can silence the impact you were designed to have. But what he underestimates is that the chosen may stumble, but they don't stay down. They may bend under pressure, but they do not break. They may face opposition, but they rise again because the one who chose them is faithful. So when you feel the heat of the attack, when you feel the weight of the battle, remind yourself that this is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign of assignment. It means you matter. It means your destiny is real. It means your impact is greater than you realize. The enemy, does not fight those who have nothing to offer. He fights those whose very existence threatens his grip. If you are facing relentless warfare, it is because you are chosen, and nothing, no attack, no scheme, no opposition can cancel what God has already declared over your life.